recording time! Here we are, the podcast heroes, discuss Toku like never before. Legion, go Legion of Boo, go Legion of Boo, go Legion of Boo, go, 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 fly, go Legion of Boo, go Legion of Boo, go Legion of Boo, Legion of Boo!
Welcome to the Legion of Boom podcast. I am Ginga Herb, and these is the homies.
It's your boy, @Carl_, no Winslow.
It's your boy, the returning Giga Radiance. Feels good to be back. Thank you.
It's your boy, Sentai 5, aka Tony Bloodstock.
It's your girl, Sunglass Free.
It's the fastest man on Token Twitter, Burden Rush.
Yes.
Hey!
Yes.
Family! Alright, so today on the Legion of Boom podcast, we will be discussing the greatest movie of all time, cuz it's called
Turbo.
Marvel.
Black Panther?
It's called Infinity War. The Avengers Infinity War, excuse me. Oh, I forget the Avengers part.
That doesn't sound like Turbo
Magic
Power
Key.
Rangers movie.
Oh, Jesus.
Damn.
I watched that this
movie is
weekend,
not
and it is even worse than I remember.
I told you can't watch Power Ranger movies more than like twice at most.
How dare you?
It still holds up. Don't almost
I literally paused it and waited 12 hours to resume watching it. But anyway, but anyway, I had to let it marinate. But anyway, so Avengers Infinity War. I've been waiting my whole life for this movie, and I didn't even know it. It was so good.
Oh,
I had almost no hype going into this, and then like the further I got along into this, it was like, wow, I don't hate this movie. Wow, this movie's actually really fun. Oh my gosh, it's been 2.5 hours, and I could like sit through another hour of it. So
I know. Wow, where do we even start?
Yeah, where do you even start?
maybe we could talk a little bit about like our favorite movies or something going into it, or like what our expectations were before.
No,
we saw
forget
it.
that. We talking about Hulk getting slapped first. when
That's
Thanos
Yeah,
showed up
that's what
on
we
the
start out
ship,
with.
he showed up on the ship, and Loki was like, "Yo, we got a Hulk," and the Hulk was like, "I'm here, cuz." They was
Yo,
throwing them
what?
hands, and Thanos was like, "Yo, who's this big green toddler y'all sending at me?" Bop, 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 bop. He was slapping. He slapped Hulk's hairline off.
Yo, Hulk is fucking wild.
And then Thanos, and then they killed off
Dick.
Idris Elba.
And he was probably lying there going, finally, I don't have to do these movies ever again.
Yeah.
No, yo, he killed Heimdall, and then he killed Loki.
Loki.
Yeah, and then he snapped Loki's neck.
He
Gang.
strangled.
he said something about like no more resurrections for you.
Yep.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen. They'll
'Cause
probably
Loki-
bring
Loki
back like
failed
Kid
him.
Loki.
Yeah.
They'll probably
Oh,
bring back
also-
Kid Loki in the
Also, we didn't
movies.
say this, but spoiler alert.
Yeah,
Well,
spoiler
we'll
alert.
No,
Put
no
it in the
spoiler alert.
description.
No spoiler alert. You guys, whoever's listening right now, and you know you haven't seen Infinity War, why are you listening to this? Go see the movie first, please.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it on Twitter, please. I really don't want to hear this. Man, the Legion spoiled us on
What are you
Infinity
talking
War.
Okay, I'm back.
Yo,
I didn't even know you left.
Right.
Already podcast.
yo,
Yo.
So he snapped Loki's neck, and I felt literally nothing because I was like, I seen this nigga die 4 times already.
Yeah.
I'm not really that impressed, cuz. And then but before Heimdall died, he shot Hulk down in a big useless ball of light to Earth,
Mhm.
so that Hulk could tell Iron Man, Strange, and Spidey Man
And Huang.
that Thanos is coming.
And Wong.
Wong.
And Wong, yeah, shout out to Wong.
No, not a shout out to Wong. He fucking
No.
bitched everybody. What do you mean?
Wrong bitch.
Well, I mean, he had a point. He had
had
to
to
stay
protect
behind
the
to make sure
sanctum.
somebody was
Yeah.
protecting it.
Yeah,
New York Sanctum needs protecting.
Wong said, I ain't clocked out yet, cuz I can't leave.
Hey, y'all finna fight Thanos? I catch up with y'all.
Hey, when you say it out loud, when you say the situation out loud, it sounds way dumber. Like Thanos is gonna destroy the whole universe. This nigga's like, oh, I gotta make sure the front door locked. It's like, dog,
It doesn't go
It won't even matter.
It won't even
you do?
matter.
In 2 hours.
Listen, I tried to finish
What you do?
I gotta go.
I gotta get out of here. He wanted to admit Wong was scared. He didn't want to admit it.
Exactly.
Yo,
He was big shook.
Hey man.
Yeah, so
Everyone
I'm-
could be scared.
I'm reading the Gauntlet comic book.
Yeah.
That part with the Hulk lands in Doctor Strange's house
Mhm.
is taken straight from the comic. Like, but it's not the Hulk in the comic. It's the Silver Surfer.
Yep.
Ah,
Yeah, I have
And
not read the original Infinity Gauntlet comic. I know nothing about it, so
It's been years since I read the comic, but I did remember that part. I didn't really put 2 and 2 together like that.
Marvel's
Right.
based off comics?
What?
Breaking news.
I remember the Silver Surfer cartoon.
Was that the Green Goblin?
Yeah, it's Green Goblin. Yo.
I also remember the Silver Surfer cartoon. I remember like
gang.
it was oddly depressing. Like, cause all he does is like fly around and go, "Hey,
Space.
Galactus is gonna eat your planet next week. Bye."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's his
Pretty
whole
much.
job.
Literally, I grew up watching the '90s Spider-Man animated series.
Me
Ooh.
too.
It's still a go.
That's the best one ever.
It still holds up, baby.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of Spider-Man,
Yeah.
Spider-Man's
Good
on the
segue.
school bus to the good segue, Nick. Spider-Man's on the school bus.
And his
And
spidey senses
Stan Lee is his bus driver, and I'm pretty sure Stan Lee is too old to drive a school bus.
no, like considering some of the school bus drivers I have seen in the district I work for, no, that's
They're
pretty
90?
accurate. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
What
I
the
would
fuck?
hope.
He was like 173.
They better have some good eyesight.
Exactly. He's like, "Calm down, you kids. You act like you never seen a spaceship before." I'm like, "Yo, what?"
And he's right
Fuck up,
though.
old man.
I'm like, "Yo, can you see it?"
No, like
You,
you gotta think about it. In their universe, they live in the world with the Avengers. So like,
Right.
yeah, they've seen spaceships and shit before.
it's every day.
Exactly.
Like they've seen New York get fucked up before.
Yeah. Oh,
Can we talk about how Ned was in there to deliver one line, and it was one of the best
We're gonna
scenes
die.
in the movie?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to
And I need a
Ned.
distraction.
Shout out to the Hobgoblin.
Oh come on.
I hope he does become the Hobgoblin.
That'd be a crazy
So
twist.
weird.
I need some sort of goblin.
You can't take him seriously though. They need to like bring in the actual Harry Osborn character. Yeah.
That's the Green Goblin.
That's the green guy. We're talking about Hobgoblin, the orange one.
No, Harry is the Hobgoblin.
he does
no.
both.
Nobody
Oh, yeah, he
takes
did.
Ned seriously.
Man, we don't
as a
read no-
Hobgoblin.
What'd you say, John?
We don't read no Marvel comics.
That's from the cartoon.
I'm just,
Yeah, that was in a cartoon.
Yeah,
In
it
the movie.
was.
yeah.
But Ned
Okay.
Leeds becomes the Hobgoblin in the comics also. At one
You
point.
fucking kidding me.
Yeah.
I'm not
fucking
kidding.
Nerd.
Well, that
Yeah.
Ned in the movies, they're not going to take him seriously.
Yeah, they're probably not. That's what I'm saying. Like, imagine that'd be a crazy twist.
It's probably just a cool Easter egg for right now.
Yeah, pretty much. So
Yeah,
so-
Peter gets his spidey senses. They tingle, and he sees a
Yeah.
goddamn Q ship in the sky.
Oh my
Cute
God.
shit.
As Tony calls it,
That's what they
a
call
flying
it.
donut.
Or the
Flying
flying donut.
donut.
Yeah.
No, but they're actually called the Q ships, I think.
Cute.
Yeah.
I'm almost
I
positive.
never knew that.
And then
Yeah.
all the heroes have their Q-tamas and they save the.
Oh,
Not that kind of Q.
hey, this shit ain't trash.
Like Q Range.
Like Q
Yeah,
range.
Yeah, this movie just want me to save like Q Ranger.
I need my respect.
Yo,
Infinity War
so-
better than Q Ranger. Who'd
That-
have thought?
that- Yo, that fight between Strange,
And
Iron
Ebony
Man,
Maw.
Spider-Man, and Ebony Maw was so
Oh.
sick, yo. Like,
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
any of the fight scenes with Doctor Strange in it were amazing.
yo.
They were so much cooler than anything in his actual solo movie. Like that
Yeah.
fucking wizard battle
Mhm.
between Strange and Thanos on Titan is like literally the best minute of that movie.
Stephen Strange is the rawest nigga of all time.
Ah, he's so cool.
One thing I like about that movie though is they hit the ground running, like with the action and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Since day
They
one,
were-
since the first scene.
not all that exposition and bullshit. Like they went for it.
Because you already know
Yeah.
the story, you know? Like, we already know the story.
Right.
So
Well,
it's.
hopefully
Yeah.
you know the story.
Yeah, if you've been watching the previous movies.
Unless you're
Nah,
fucking
I just saw
dumb.
Black Panther before this, so
That's when you became a Marvel fan?
yeah, when I saw Black Panther.
Oh,
I'm glad Wakanda got washed.
I just want to see him because of Black Panther too.
So as this battle is happening in New York, this whole like fight against the Black Order in New York, what's going on this is kind of like off track but kind of on the same topic. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like kind of mentions what's going on. They're like, "Oh, do you see all the weird stuff going on in New York?" And then that's it for that part. But they mention the whole Thanos thing again in the episode after.
Okay.
Yeah. I keep up with
That's
Agents of
pretty cool.
S.H.I.E.L.D., so that's what's, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man jumps onto the Q ship, right?
Mm-hmm.
It shoots off into space.
Takes off his
And,
mask like an idiot.
I
I mean, like, he's losing, he
It
couldn't
felt like the
breathe.
mask was helping him any.
Yeah.
He couldn't breathe.
He couldn't breathe.
So Tony shoots him the Iron Spider.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
The raw
that suit looks so cool.
It is
It
amazing.
looks
Yep.
so good in live action.
It does.
No, that was my question. Is the suit physical? Like, is it an actual suit, or
No, that's
is it just
CGI.
CGI?
That's
That
CGI,
is CGI.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there is a physical suit, isn't it?
Yeah, Tom Holland's walking around wearing something.
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think they probably have like
Probably
they probably have a version for close-up shots and things where he's not moving around, but any of the stunts that they do, it'd be CGI.
Just like how
Yeah.
Tony wears on, like, the top part of his armor, and then, like, everything
Yeah.
else is, like, spandex. And they're filming
Speaking of
it.
Tony,
From the dick down.
speaking of Tony, that new suit he has,
Yeah, the
Oh.
nanite.
the nanite suit, that is
bleeding edge.
Go.
that's that suit. I was like, yo, Iron Man's the rawest of all time.
Nano machine, son.
Yeah,
It's top
That's
tier.
the future. That's the
that
future.
is top tier. Mr. Stark, it smells like a new car in here. I'm like, yo, look at this father and son matching outfits.
Literally.
God.
It was take your kid to work day in Infinity War. Literally.
Yeah, those shoes don't turn out well.
I know.
Or the Boba Fett.
Also, I found it really funny when Tony calls Ebony Maw Squidward.
Oh yeah. The theater was laughing their
Yeah.
ass off on that one.
Yeah, I love Tony Stark.
Jokes in 2018.
Yeah, it's like Twitter.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh God.
Yo, I'm struggling. What happens after this? Okay, Guardians. They showed the Guardians, right?
The Guardians, yeah, Thor.
Yep.
I
ends
think
up on
after
the
that
Guardians,
it
Guardians.
cuts
and it
back to
says-
Scarlet Witch
says
and
space.
Vision, which is probably why you don't remember it.
Whack.
Yo, Vision gets washed through the whole
He
2
does.
hours
He
and
doesn't get
30
to
something
do
He
minutes.
spent the entire
All the
movie
L's.
with a stab wound.
He's
Literally.
either laying down or
He's like-
taking oaths.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't phase anymore. Yeah, you weak sauce.
Yeah, big trash, dog.
Fake
How
ass.
do you get an Infinity Stone, right? You have an Infinity Stone and you just weak.
Well, he does try to use it to like shoot laser beams out of his forehead, but I guess he never figured out how to actually use, the mind part of the Mind Stone.
Yeah,
Aside from the fact that he's trying to
Never knew what it
understand
was,
it.
He had this whole time to practice and whatnot, but look what he did.
Yeah.
And now everyone's fucking dead.
Yeah.
Good job.
Well,
we didn't get to that part.
they saw the movie already, Nick. They know that everybody dies in the
Yeah,
end.
okay, good.
I mean, not everyone, but mostly.
You gotta
Most
build
of them,
suspense, cuz.
Hmm?
You gotta build suspense, cuz.
So you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Guardians-
Disregard that. Yeah, the Guardians.
Happen.
Yeah, that didn't happen. The Guardians find Thor in
They're
space.
flying. Wait. They're flying because they got a distress signal and they're trying to see who it was. And it's the Asgardian ship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's when they run into Thor.
Also, all the scenes in space in Infinity War altogether were better than Q Ranger as a series. They were
What is this?
Fun fact: they were actually shot in space.
on location in space.
Yeah.
Right.
Marvel
probably-
has that much money.
Yeah, I was just about to say. Marvel probably has that much money to do that.
Excuse me, Disney.
They find Thor in space. They keep sexually harassing him.
Yeah.
Star Lord is jealous.
It doesn't
Star
matter.
Lord big jealous, bro. He was salty.
Star's a fucking pussy.
Hey,
We'll get to
Star-Lord-
that later.
He was so salty.
Wow, typical white man.
Honestly, I think I saw some people complaining about that, but it makes complete sense in that Peter Quill is only the leader of the group and him being slightly less screwed up than everybody else in the Guardians team. So when you put him against like actual superheroes who have more experience and responsibility,
Yeah,
and
he feels
stuff,
inferior.
well, yeah, that was exactly what I was going to say. And it really makes that difference a lot more obvious.
Rocket Raccoon had a cybernetic eyeball in his butthole.
Yeah, never.
Yo, him and Thor had the best dynamic. I love
Yes,
I
that was
love
the
their
best
dynamic.
subplot.
That was the best. God.
Oh, that was pretty good. There's a lot of interesting dynamics that this movie does, actually. Like characters never met before. Like I'm skipping ahead a little bit, but I love when Cap finally meets Groot.
Oh,
and Groot
yeah.
says, "I am Groot."
I am
he says,
Steve.
"I'm Steve Rogers." I love that.
It's so
I just
funny.
absolutely love Thor's introduction where he's like, "Hey, this is my friend. He's a tree," and like Groot's busy like knocking the crap out of
And this is
him
my
all
rabbit
day.
friend.
Groot literally has several. Groot literally has several dudes impaled on his branch
Yep.
while waving at Captain America.
That's the
And
best.
then there's
That's what Groot does best.
and then there's Bucky dual wielding with Rocket Raccoon.
Oh, yes. He asked if Bucky's gun is for sale.
He's like,
And then he asked for his arm.
Yeah.
he's like,
his
"I'll get
arm.
an arm."
I love when Bucky walks off. He's like, "I'm gonna get that arm." He's like, "I'm gonna get it."
Believe that.
Damn, such good dynamics, man. It felt so genuine, too.
Like all the events led up
Yeah.
perfectly.
Yep.
Like it's like a natural build up to where we are now.
Exactly.
Right. Because, like, to go off what you're saying, John, like it's weird how it's not weird that Rocket Raccoon is standing 5 feet away from Black Panther and they're not freaking out about each other. Like, he's like, "Oh, it's a talking raccoon. Who cares? Kill the aliens." Like
Exactly.
Because that's how far we've come.
Lands in Wakanda, like it ain't shit.
Yeah.
Yo, Wakanda ain't shit.
Wakanda, and now Thor is here.
What's the captain of his guard, that one chick
Okoye.
that he was talking
Michonne.
Yeah, when he was talking with her and she's like, "This wasn't what I had in mind when you said you were going to open up Wakanda."
I was expecting a Starbucks.
What's the problem?
What is the problem? So yeah,
I
that's
watched
it.
anyway.
It really is. It really did watch. Speaking of Okoye, so I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
All right.
Scarlet Witch and Vision get washed. Falcon, I'm surprised I remember he was in the movie. Falcon, Black Widow, and Captain America show up.
Come out of nowhere.
And they
Well, they got called. They got called, but still.
Sexy beard now.
Yo,
Yeah.
dude, when Cap came out of the shadows, my entire theater was just clapping, hooting, and hollering. It was
Oh
crazy.
yeah, same. Mine was
Yeah,
too.
mine too.
I was going along with them anyway. So
There were
Those are
several
actually-
yes
Yeah.
being screamed in the theater.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I didn't hear
Wait.
that, but there was a lot of
Well-
clapping.
So what I don't get is why. Okay, so why Bruce Banner was the one that made the call. So why did they show up to save Vision and Scarlet Witch?
Because they-
Probably. Go
Well,
ahead.
because they knew that he's looking for the Infinity Stones, and they know
Oh,
Vision has one in his
Yep.
face.
Yep, exactly. They gotta protect his ass.
Yeah, like the whole reason they wanted to call Cap is because they knew Cap could figure out where Vision was
Mhm.
That's true.
because they didn't have the tracking on him
'Cause he went
anymore.
right-
Sorry,
Yeah.
guys, rewind that shit. I'm sorry. Let's rewind. Okay.
Nah, it's an interesting point. Carl,
Yo,
shout outs to Captain America's phone number being 678.
right. Captain America's from the
It's Atlantan.
He's Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
Atlanta area codes.
That's funny because that's where they filmed it.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's funny
I was
in
like-
Atlanta. Everybody's like, huh?
Yeah. Cap been hiding in Decatur. They didn't even know it.
The whole time. No, he been in Bankhead.
I love
Yeah,
his
but they
beard.
find. Yeah, his beard is pretty good. But
I want
I'm glad he
a
doesn't
beard
look
like that when I become a grown man, like him.
He looks like Solid Snake.
He does.
Like that.
12.
Punished Captain America.
Yeah. Punished freedom.
I wish they dressed him as Nomad, but it's okay.
Yeah.
God.
But
Everybody
they
calls him Captain in the movie.
Yeah.
yeah. Everybody links up and they talk about how Ant-Man and Hawkeye are not going to be in the movie. And then they like, yo, we got to get Vision to Wakanda so we can get this stone out of his freaking face so Thanos doesn't rip off his freaking face.
But it's still happening.
It's still happens anyway. But
And they
after,
I was, and they cut back to the flying donut.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
the
did.
flying donut.
God,
Spider-Man
And
makes
Doctor
fun.
Strange is
There's a lot
getting
going on.
tortured with those freaking acupuncture
Oh.
things by Ebony Maw. Just for the
And then
damn
he
time
gets saved
stone.
through the power of making references to aliens.
Yeah, exactly.
This is what makes Spider-Man great.
Yeah, that's a nice little character quirk they gave him.
That is.
It's,
Like,
it's
culture
absolutely
movies.
hilarious because the first thing Peter says when he comes up with his plan is, "Hey, there's this really old movie called Aliens."
You know what makes it work? You know what makes it hurt? Is that he's not wrong. It is old.
It is an old movie.
Yeah,
it's almost 40
it's
years
been,
old.
what, like
Wow.
It started-
87? I
No. Wait, Alien?
was Aliens.
Oh,
I think it
Aliens?
was made. I think it's from the
Sometime
from
in
the
the
80s.
Yeah, sometime in the 80s. I thought
I want to say it's 87, but I'd have to look it up. Let me
because
check that.
first Alien movie was like 78, 79. I forget.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, Johnny. How do you feel, buddy?
Oh, it was 86. I was close.
Yeah.
Oh,
Still the
86.
same.
Okay.
He feels the same.
John really is a Spider-Man.
He is the
He
Spider-Man
is.
of the Legion.
Hey, at least I'm still alive.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, man.
wow. Never fade away.
Never fade away. I don't feel too good. Yeah, but then where we at? Oh yeah, they suck the aliens out the side of the ship.
Mm-hmm. Thanks
And
to
then
Tony.
where do they? Yeah, and then where do they go? They go to
Titan. Yeah.
Yo, and
Yeah,
and the Guardians.
they're about to land on Titan.
Yeah,
Because Tony can't figure out a way to like turn the ship back or anything. He doesn't know how to
But
fly.
yeah, it was it was on autopilot to take them back to Titan, where presumably Ebony Maw was going to bring the stone back to Thanos and meet up with him there.
Right.
So when Thanos arrives, he doesn't find Ebony Maw, but he does find the rest of the Avengers.
Exactly.
I think it cut back to the Guardians. So Thor decided to go to I can't say the name of the place, but wherever he gets his hammer, the Dying Star.
Oh, never.
I don't even remember what that was called.
Never- I forget. Nithalevity or
Bless
something
you.
like that.
The Neutron
no,
Star
no,
Forge.
Yeah. We get a gigantic. We get a gigantic
North shit.
Peter
Neutron
Dinklage.
Star.
We got there yet.
yeah. We might as well just go in any order because the movie is.
Are you talking about the
so-
midget?
Yeah.
The movie
Yeah.
goes
The
on,
giant
okay.
Peter
Yeah.
Dinklage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giant midget.
That was so confusing.
That
It
got
was
some
so
really
weird.
big laughs out of my theater.
Me too. I was laughing my ass off because it looked exactly like him, just big.
Taller.
Yeah.
It's big boy season.
I couldn't take him serious.
Right.
Like, because I know he's a midget, but he's like bigger than everybody else.
Giant Tyrion Lannister. In case you guys watch Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
I guess you guys
Peter
don't
Dinklage
watch.
has been in a lot of other stuff, though.
I know, but he's famous for Game of Thrones.
Yeah. He was in one of the X-Men movies.
Yeah, he was.
Well,
He got
what-
shot in
he
the head.
was Trax.
Yeah, he was trash.
He got shot in the head by Mystique.
Trask. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Uh-huh. So
not a lot
So
of
he's another one that made the leap from Fox to Marvel.
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
They jump in that shit pretty quickly.
Oh yeah.
How long until Tom Hardy's in the MCU?
Thanos is too.
Well, Thanos is going
Well,
back to
It's
Fox.
going backwards.
yeah.
That's crazy that he both at the same time.
Yeah, I know, right?
real.
What was that? Where were we at with the movie?
We're everywhere.
They
man.
go the Guardians.
They were going to
Mhm.
Yeah, we're talking about the
Nowhere.
Guardians picking up Thor, and
They
then
go to nowhere to get the
They
reality
split
stone.
up.
They go to nowhere
oh yeah, we haven't talked about Nowhere yet.
Yeah.
to get
Yeah,
the
they split
reality
up.
stone.
Go ahead, Carl. Explain it.
Yeah, they go to nowhere to get the reality stone. At this point it's Drax, Mantis, Gamora, and Star Lord. And Thanos is going to get reality stone from the Collector, which they were stupid for giving it to him in the first place. And of course, he's already. By the time they get there, it looks like they still got time to get it. But apparently, Thanos has been hanging out and already changed reality.
Big chilling.
Right.
Right.
Role play.
Pretty much.
Gamora goes and kills him in like 3 seconds.
Yeah, I was like,
Well,
there's no way. This
mortally wounds him in 3 seconds. I'm like,
Oh,
no.
even
Yeah.
Peter is like, well, that was fast.
Like Peter was the audience at that point. It's like
Yeah. He was.
too easy, right?
So then Thanos is like, "Sight, I'm alive."
And he destroyed nowhere.
Yeah, he destroyed nowhere like an hour ago. He's like,
He
yeah,
wrecked
I'm
that shit.
been done with this place.
But then Gamora tells Peter that secret. Well, not really a secret, just to kill her if things go south. Yeah, exactly.
Yo, the most gangster part of the movie is when Thanos is like, "Do it, nigga! Pull the trigger!
Yeah.
Shoot her in the face!"
I wanted him to do it too. He did, and it was bubbles because the Reality Stone. I was like,
Yep.
whack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it caught me off guard. I ain't gonna lie. First time.
Me too.
I would have been suspicious. Like, I would have hesitated too, because I'd have been like, not because like Star-Lord's in love with Gamora, but because Thanos himself is saying do it. So I'm like, yo, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is a little suspicious.
Yeah. But the bubbles was like, what?
Yeah.
It
That's
really
such
gets
a-
you off guard.
It's such a dickish thing to do, but that's why it's perfect.
It is.
You know,
Right.
literally just fucking with them at this point.
Exactly.
So
That
he takes,
nigga disappears with Gamora.
yeah, he takes Gamora, and he's got Nebula in the basement torturing her.
Oh yeah, he's like taking her apart, literally.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
You gotta split apart.
Yeah, and they go
Yeah.
to,
He needed answers.
And he finds the whereabouts of the Soul Stone, which is on
Vormir was the name of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go. 10,000 points for free.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's up?
Don't forget the part where the ghost of Red Skull is on.
I was gonna get to that part. I'm getting to that part, man. God.
I had-
That's really the
there
Red
were-
Skull.
The Red Skull.
There were two guys in my theater who yelled like really loud, "What the fuck!" Like,
Yeah.
that was-
Trust me, I had that
That
too.
was
My
me.
my jaw dropped. I was like, wait a second, you gotta be kidding me, because the voice kind of sounded a little familiar, but I know
It's not Hugo Weaving.
Exactly.
He's not credited in the movie, but it's a really good
Yeah.
imitation of Hugo
he's
Weaving.
this guy who did the voice is he's from The Walking Dead as well.
This dude from Walking
Yeah.
Dead.
Yeah,
Aaron.
the curly guy. I forget his name.
Yeah,
The curve.
Aaron. He plays Aaron.
Aaron,
I
yeah.
can't remember his real name though.
Yeah, his name's Aaron. Yeah, so that voice was really good because I almost thought it was Hugo Weaving. I'm like, wait, this voice sounds so familiar. And then they show his face. He's like, a lifetime ago, I sought after the stones myself, and then I got banished here. And then
crazy.
Yeah, 'cause he
Red
can't
Skull is
remember.
cursed to be the guardian of the Soul Stone on Vormir, whatever it's called.
Vormir.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
a stone you can never get.
exactly.
Yeah, I was in denial that it was
Tripping,
him.
man.
It's crazy because for years everybody's been saying, "Oh, Red Skull's gonna return somehow," blah blah blah, and that's how
Honestly,
we,
this is probably the best way they could have brought him back
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it ties up that nicely, and it's a good way to give continuity back to the original, like the first Avenger.
I
Yeah.
wholeheartedly agree with you.
He's been missing for like 8 years.
That was like the biggest. I think that's like one of the best surprises I've ever seen
Yeah.
in the movie,
Yeah,
in
I
like
was-
any
yeah.
MCU movie.
Because I mean, like, you could like reasonably make the expectation that the movie ends with everybody dying or with Thanos achieving his goals,
Right.
just based on the fact that it's part 1 and part 2 is coming out next year.
Hmm.
But Red Skull showing up, I don't think anybody called.
No, there's no way
Like-
anybody knew that beforehand unless you
I,
worked
I,
on the
I don't
movie.
think that was. I don't even think that was in like spoilers that people
Nah.
were leaking.
I don't think
No.
so. Not that I even checked any
No.
spoilers before,
Oh no.
but yeah.
Yeah, I did a good job avoiding spoilers. Proud.
See internet, see listeners, see how easy it is to avoid spoilers. You just keep scrolling, you just don't go on the websites.
I saw the movie the day it came out.
Yeah, me
Don't
too.
hours
search
before
the
everybody else.
hashtag.
Yeah, just don't search the hashtag. It's that simple. Like, why would you search a hashtag and not expect spoilers and then get
tell
pissed
him
off?
5.
Yeah, I know I'm gonna get subtweeted like I usually do. But anyways, let's keep moving on.
Yeah, so Thanos is like, no, Red Skull's like, yo, you gotta lose something in order to gain the
Yeet.
Soul Stone. Yeah, literally, yeet.
That was such a good scene.
He throws
That was-
Gamora. He chucks Gamora off a cliff.
See
Well,
you,
because-
bitch.
She
It's
knew.
such a good scene because at first the audience basically follows Gamora's exact thought process as
Exactly.
you're going through the scene. Because at first you're like, oh, he can't, like there's no way he can get the Soul Stone because he's a villain and there's no way that he actually cares this much about something other than his
Oh,
own
nah.
twisted ambitions. And then he turns around, and then you're
Oh,
like,
no, I
oh
saw that. I
shit,
saw
no.
that.
And remember they show that
I thought that
flashback when Gamora was a child?
Yeah.
Then I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, he cares about her. All right, he does.
They
God.
did a good job setting that up, I think, though.
Yeah, I think so too. I was like,
What
damn.
about her that much?
Yeah, I know.
John, what was your reaction when he threw Gamora off the cliff?
I was dying of laughter. It was hilarious.
And then it cuts to just his CGI face looking very sad for like a solid minute.
And then it cuts to Gamora doing her best b-boy stance on the floor of the bottom of the cliff.
To be honest, I don't really like Gamora that much as a character, so I really didn't care. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, man, she's green.
Cool.
She's okay. She's just kind of one-dimensional compared to the other Guardians.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
She's just Thanos' daughter that's trying to fight back.
I think this movie helped her though a little bit.
Yeah, it helped. It definitely gave her a little more.
Definitely, yeah. Because she was like,
Luke is
you ain't
still
gonna do it. You ain't gonna do it.
Thanos was like,
Well, she tried to kill herself.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
But Peter fucked
I saw
up.
some-
And of course, Thanos turned the blade into bubbles again.
Oh,
Yeah.
the damn bubbles.
Herb is laughing and shit.
I saw somebody tweet that that's why I'm laughing. I saw somebody tweet. It was like, this wouldn't have happened if Gamora would just killed herself. I'm like, she literally tries 3 times. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
At one point, she was
Yeah,
in
I see
Thanos' clutches. She couldn't really do much.
Yeah, because as soon as she realizes that Thanos really does intend to throw her off the cliff, like she goes for the knife, and at that point, it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Dude, Thanos
Dang.
sucks, man. By he sucks, I mean he's awesome.
Thanos raw.
He is raw. I underestimated his rawness for some reason.
I think we all did.
Yeah, I know.
So where does he go after he gets the Soul Stone? He goes to Titan?
Yeah, he goes
Yep.
to Titan immediately
Yeah,
afterwards, because
just
that's why
not-
Peter freaks out, because Nebula points out that he had to have killed her because she went with him to Vormir, and he came back with the Soul Stone.
And yeah, Gamora didn't come back.
Vormir sounds like a place in Lord of the Rings.
It does.
So,
Right? I'm thinking of Boromir. That's why.
What'd you say?
Vormir, you are.
What you gonna say, John?
So the attack on Wakanda
Yes.
happens concurrently with Thanos going to Titan.
Yeah.
And
They
yeah.
happen at the same time.
It's
You
crazy.
didn't know that.
And going back to that Wakanda scene, this most recent episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't really reference the battle in Wakanda, but they do say there's like this group of aliens that are trying to avoid Thanos' conflict, that are trying to just like use Earth as just trying to take Earth's resources pretty much. So they're trying to like fool the humans, which are pretty much the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that are like, oh, we'll give you guys like safe passage on our ship or whatever in our alliance if you give us some stuff in return. And because there's a huge attack coming in, and everyone's like, oh, what's this huge attack you keep talking of? And one of the aliens, I think he's a Kree, he says there's an alien named Thanos who's started his attack on Earth already. Him and his forces are already attacking Earth as we speak. So that's another Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. connection right there. After that, we don't get it. Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. So that's
That show at least tries to keep that thread going.
yeah.
I was about
so-
to say, at least they're trying.
yeah.
Better
Yeah.
than the Netflix shows, at least.
Oh yeah. Definitely better than the Netflix shows.
If Luke Cage doesn't disintegrate,
They just announced the season 2 today.
Yeah, but that's not gonna.
And I'm like,
that's
I don't
not gonna
care.
happen during Infinity War.
I don't
Yeah.
care. Why does everyone want those shitty ass characters in the fucking MCU?
Yeah, I remember
They suck.
Daredevil Raw though.
I don't want
Yeah,
Jessica
yeah,
Jones'
yeah,
dirty
right?
ass next to Iron Man. Like, why do you want that so bad? I don't understand.
she is mad grimy looking. But
Jessica Jones is whack.
yeah. So
You hate women, 5.
the
I
five.
love them. I love them.
No, he's not Blue Buster.
Oh Jesus, that's an obscure reference.
Oh man.
The
Jokes that only like 3 of our listeners are going to
Yeah.
get.
I know, right?
Good thing we only have 3 listeners.
Yeah, because I target those 3 listeners.
Hi, Mom.
That's it.
so then
Me watching this in the future.
I understood that reference. So then there's the fight on Wakanda pops off, and you got everybody on the front line.
Even your boy
Shit,
M'Baku.
man.
M'Baku.
I skipped some?
Yeah, you skipped where.
Yeah, you skipped the whole part before they even went there.
I don't know what either you just said.
They went to the Avengers compound, I guess. Is that the part you're talking about?
Yeah, that's where they have the whole discussion about whether or not they should kill Vision in order to destroy the Mind Stone.
Who cares about Vision?
And they see Hulk for the first time in like 10 years.
Yeah.
Captain America cares about Vision, and that's why it's important.
This is awkward.
Even the one superhero that nobody cares about, Captain America still cares about him.
Exactly, because that's who he is.
And General, what's his name?
Oh,
still trying to arrest the Avengers.
And Rhodey being
whatever.
And Rhodey's just
he's
like,
an
nah. Yeah.
Rhodey hella thick, dog. That's all I'm saying.
Rhodey goes up to Cap and's like, yo, what up, cuz?
Well, cuz, how you doing?
How you doing?
Rhodey got the Robo pants on.
He's RoboCop now.
Captain America's edgy now. He's like, I'll fight you if I have to.
One thing I want to add, I kind of want to War Machine movie focusing on obviously Rhodey. God, I can't even say the goddamn names right.
I love Rhodey.
Because I feel like I don't know. I want to see more of him, I guess. Even though I don't like him as much.
Give him more development.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. They should put Terrence Howard in it.
Yeah, I really don't like Don Cheadle as Rhodey that much, but
War Machine, man.
It's too black.
Every time Don Cheadle's been in one of these movies as War Machine, he just always sounds like he's phoning it in.
Exactly, Pri. Exactly, especially in Age of Ultron. Oh my! I couldn't even handle him in Age of Ultron. I'm like, dude, stop talking, please. Please stop talking.
Clown.
He was a clown in that movie.
What'd you say, Carl?
He's like, bam, you looking for this?
Yes, I was like, dude, that was literally one of the worst lines I've ever heard in my life.
It's hilarious because like him telling that story to the Avengers was like everybody else's reaction to it.
Exactly.
People in the movie theater.
But at the same time, I do want a movie to like flesh his character out a little bit more because I don't know. I feel like he deserves. I'll admit he deserves more because he got the crap end of the stick in Civil War.
Oh yeah.
He got shot down by his own
Like,
guy.
he's the only one that gets fucked up.
Yeah. It's funny.
He temporarily took Vision's spot of taking the L.
That, like,
And it was Vision's fault. So it was
Vision's fault, exactly. And Vision felt like no remorse. Vision felt like no remorse. I feel like.
That's because he's a fucking robot.
Still, he's able to feel feelings.
Yeah, no, I mean that was part of the core conflict in here. That Vision was the first one to suggest you guys should probably kill me, and they're all the ones who have to talk him out of it.
Yeah.
Scarlet Witch is like, no, I'm not gonna do it to the very last second.
He's alive.
You
See, to be fair, I see what they were trying to do with it, and I understand it. And both the actors really tried hard to make it work. But the fact is, we have not seen any of them since Age of Ultron, and Age of Ultron sucked.
It did. It was bad.
So people aren't as invested.
Yeah, they were in Civil War.
Oh, they were in Civil War. I forgot about it. See, I don't even remember.
Yeah, we saw Civil War.
So, I mean, they really try to make it work, but the audience just isn't going to be as invested in them as they are, like, the Guardians or Iron Man, because we haven't seen as much of them.
I was pretty invested in Scarlet Witch.
Were you?
So
Dead.
Yo, it's crazy how Iron Man and Cap like never even like interacted in this movie.
Yeah, I was saying they're still split up after Civil War.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like Tony was just about to like. I feel like Tony wasn't gonna call him no matter what, even if they weren't interrupted by Ebony Maw.
Stupid.
Because you saw him like hesitating. He was just like standing there, and all of a sudden, on coincidence, you guys hear something?
Yeah.
Tony blocked him on Twitter, to be honest.
Yeah, he blocked him on Twitter for differing opinions.
Yeah.
Sounds like Tofu Twitter in a nutshell.
Figure out how to use Twitter.
I think that's.
What'd you say, Nick?
Because that's Steve Rogers still trying to figure out how to use Twitter.
Right.
How do you work
Went to the store, got some milk. Tweet.
I keep forgetting he's like a $100.
Yeah, he is. It's crazy.
All right, so a bunch of fighting happens. Basically, that's all I'm gonna say. A bunch of fighting happens on this planet, that planet, Wakanda. It's nuts. Strange has a seizure.
Wait, we're not gonna talk about.
Oh yeah, Strange
Stormbreaker.
Oh,
Stormbreaker.
That's what I was gonna say.
God, we forgot about that. All right.
On one hand, I'm so happy Stormbreaker gets used, and on the other hand, it's like, why isn't Beta Ray Bill in this movie?
I know.
For Goatface.
Oh, wait a minute.
Goatface, like fish face.
Wait,
Also,
so you know how Groot made the handle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Groot's dead, so why the fuck is the handle still there?
It's not
Oh.
attached.
It's magic.
It's just detached.
Yeah,
It's
but-
not him. Well, it's
Yeah,
not
I
part of
guess.
his body
But
anymore.
it's still
so-
cool.
That's
Like
true.
he still lives on in that way, I guess.
Ah, shit, you're
Yeah.
right.
John, that was
Oh,
deep,
John.
man.
You made it even more sad.
Yeah, you did.
Damn it, John, shut up.
It's gonna make Thor
It's kind of
cry.
related.
Huh?
I'm not crying. Shut up.
I was gonna say that's kind of related, but James Gunn tweeted that Groot's last words in the Infinity War was "Dad."
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That was so
Talking
sad.
about Rocket.
Talking about
Damn,
the
that's
rocket.
me, to be honest.
Damn.
Rocket.
Now I gotta go to the movies and cry again.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Dude.
This
So,
is
yeah.
sad. What the fuck?
So yeah,
was.
Thor becomes Jesus Christ himself.
Oh my god, that was awesome.
With the haircut.
It becomes
The,
with the haircut.
the loudest cheers of my theater when I saw it on its premiere on Thursday night came
Mhm.
when Thor entered the battle.
Yes,
Yes.
I know.
That was literally the best.
That was
Yeah,
the
that shit's
best.
fire.
People were going out of their
Same
seats.
scene.
Yeah. Oh my god, that whole part of the
It
movie.
reminded me.
The-
It reminded
That-
me of
yeah.
you know they
Oh yeah, go ahead.
they always play the Avengers theme. It
Yes.
kicks up. It's kind of like how like in Power Rangers when they're about to do something cool and they play the season theme song.
This
Yeah.
felt like a Power Rangers season finale, part one of it. In all
Yeah,
honesty.
it really did.
Okay.
Countdown to Destruction.
See, I said this a couple times on Twitter, but it really, really reminds me of how Ultraman handles.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I've been watching a lot of Ultraman, but it really reminds me a lot of how Ultraman handles these things. Because whenever they do pick, I can't talk tonight. Big two-parter finales. The first part of those stories always end up with everybody fucking dead.
Right, yeah.
Big Raw.
Oh my
Classic
god,
Toku.
Well, the only difference is that this time everybody's dead and there are no crucifixions involved. But still,
Thor's Jesus. But then so Thor comes in there, he starts slapping aliens left and right.
God, he
It
was
is the
fine.
Bring me Thanos.
Yo.
that line is so good.
Bruh, that shit. And when he jumps and like
Yep.
his
He
eyes
just-
light up and shit, and just
Dude, that
slams
was so
the
raw.
on
It
the
was,
ground and kills like half of Wakanda in one
That was
strike.
the best Thor fight.
It
and then
is.
Thanos is like, you should have aimed for the head, kid.
This,
He really
this movie
should've.
deserves a lot of applause just for the fact of taking a whole bunch of characters that were either like I feel kind of burnt out or not done well in the movies and giving
Right.
them their best appearances in the entire cinematic universe.
Redemption.
Thor, Doctor Strange, and then Iron Man. Because I
Iron
mean,
Man.
people didn't like Iron Man 2. People were really cool on Iron Man 3,
Yeah.
and he is one of the this is one of the best performances of the movie is Iron Man.
Yeah, I have to say, like,
yeah.
Iron Man is definitely better outside of his own movies, for sure.
It's really interesting too because if you pay attention to the conversation he has with Doctor Strange aboard
yeah.
the ship when they're trying to figure out what to do, and like Doctor Strange hates him at first, and they're butting heads and everything, and then in their conversation, Tony actually admits that he has no idea what to do. And he's
Right.
flying by the seat of his pants and trying to do what he thinks is right. And as soon as he admits that he doesn't know what to do, but he's trying to do something, you can tell that Doctor Strange's opinion of him really shifts at that point.
Yeah,
it's pretty
'cause-
cool.
It was in the beginning. It was like a battle of the douchebags, pretty much, and then they finally came
Well,
to
but
some
them
kind of
are-
agreement.
Both of them are just
This
used
was
to being
a-
the smartest people in the room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, their characters are like pretty much the same. Except
Yep.
Doctor Strange is like the
The Doctor.
early version of Iron Man.
Yep.
Like Iron Man, Tony Stark has evolved a lot.
He has.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much he's changed since his first movie.
Yeah, he's come a long way.
He has.
Then
He's become the father of Spider-Man.
he really has become the
Wait
father
a
of Spider-Man.
minute.
That is
If I'm
far
Spider-Man,
wrong.
No, but he's like the
Yeah.
awkward. He's like the awkward, estranged dad from the divorce who only
Yes.
sees his son like every weekend and buys him video games to make up for never seeing him.
Come on, that hits home.
he buys him a fucking like $1 billion spider suit.
Takes him into space. Well, he doesn't take him into space. He has to chase after his
Well, he
son in
told him how to
space.
go.
Gets him killed.
Yeah, he gets him killed. Gets him killed.
God, I hate you, Dad.
I mean, Tony didn't get Spider-Man killed.
Yeah.
Some-
he
some-
went into that himself.
Yeah.
It was gonna
rewatching
happen this way.
rewatching this movie when Tony like knights him an Avenger,
Oh, yeah.
and you get to see like the biggest grin on his face as it sinks in, and rewatching that scene knowing that Peter dies after the snap
I know.
nearly made me start sobbing.
I know. At least all those Spider-Man memes from like 2012 when the Avengers came out. Remember that? Oh, hey guys, can I be an Avenger?
Oh,
Every
yeah.
single Spider-Man image, they came to fruition finally.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to my little buddy Spider-Man.
I know.
All right, so everybody fights Thanos. Is that it? Everything else that isn't like
Carl,
Everything boils.
Wait, so
Carl, what
I
does
would say,
T'Challa say about the barrier?
on my signal, open section 70.
Yeah.
God.
Section 17.
On my signal, open section 17. Brother, I want you to confirm.
I didn't expect him to do Shuri too. That caught me off guard.
Shuri. Oh my god.
But yeah,
Yo,
everything
Brother, you
again.
said open the barrier.
Say, my god, they're killing themselves.
Everything boils down to those two big fight scenes at the end, though.
Yeah. And
Also, Hulk and Hulkbuster suit.
Because Hulk is the most useless
He
person
fucking sucked. I hate
in
Hulk.
in the
You
movie.
can tell that they're really trying hard to set something up for the second half of the
Yeah.
story.
If
Yeah,
like
Hulk is not coming out.
Useful.
It still sucks because he's just 100% comedic relief in this movie, which is weird because even the funny characters in this movie aren't
serious.
just comedic relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Except
Except nothing
Drax.
better to do.
I'm big mad that that shot of the Avengers, the team running in Wakanda
Oh, yeah.
from the trailer. That wasn't even in the movie.
Yeah, about that.
It was
God.
fake.
I mean, I like that. I think it was good that they
It
threw
threw
it
us
off. a
off,
little
yeah.
bit.
I'm glad they did, but I really wanted that in the movie for like a slow-mo shot.
We didn't talk about when Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Spider Man fight the Guardians
Oh yeah.
when they land.
Who's your master?
What you want me to say, Jesus?
What about Jesus?
Who are you guys? We're the Avengers, man.
Where are you
Yeah.
from? He's like,
The one Thor talked about.
And Peter's offended, like he expects like this group of space
Oh, yeah.
pirates to know who the Avengers are.
that's so.
And
weird.
then,
They actually did though, because they just met Thor, so they actually knew who they were.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's
So
true
they-
because he
they
did
heard
mention
that.
them. And then
That's why they ended up stopped fighting.
and then Doctor Strange has a
'Cause
seizure.
Tony was finna.
Yeah, Doctor Strange has a
Oh, yeah.
seizure.
Seen how many million outcomes?
14 million,
14 million.
605 or something, I think is what it was.
And only one where they win.
See, now when he said that line, I was expecting, like, because there's that pause
Right.
after Tony asked how many they won, and I was expecting him to say zero.
Zero. I was hoping that too. I was like, I know he's gonna say zero.
They couldn't say
Yeah.
0. But it's funny because it's like you got to define what is win, and
Well,
we won't
it-
find out until
it's-
the
The next movie, yeah, because all he says. Well, people are taking his last line before he dies, saying, "Tony, it was the only way." People are thinking like, this is. I kind of agree with this theory a little bit, but like, I guess part of the theory is that like they had to give up the time stone
Oh,
as
yeah,
part of
I
it
think
to
that,
win.
I think that's absolutely implied by it.
Right, yeah.
And that's what I was about to say is that I think if he had said zero, or if they didn't have that scene with Strange saying that there is a way to win this,
Yeah.
then the ending would have been a lot worse than what it is. Because, I mean,
Oh,
there,
yeah.
obviously there's the fact that this is a comic book event. We have another movie coming out next year. But
Mhm.
I think you were supposed to come away with the understanding that everything that happened after that point had to have happened for Thanos to eventually be defeated.
Yeah,
Right.
Right.
that scene was just.
But
So
I don't think it's
powerful.
going to be, and I hope it's not going to be like, oh, well, we got the time stone back and we're bringing everybody back. Like, and I'm pretty sure Marvel's not going to do that.
I don't think
Because
so.
it's too predictable. I've been seeing all since the movie came out. Yeah, they're just going to bring everybody back. Because Black Panther got this movie coming out. They're not going to get rid of him. Spider-Man's got the movie coming out. I'm like,
Right, they're gonna come
I-
back, but there's gonna be a way it's gonna be a good way they do it.
I think there are
Like-
definitely characters that, because I mean, Loki's dead for real, Heimdall's dead for real. That they might keep Vision
And Gamora.
dead. I don't know, but he's a character that they can
Vision's
theoretically bring back later because he's a robot.
Right.
But I think I'm of the opinion, because I've heard other people propose this theory, I'm of the opinion that at least one of the original Avengers cast is going to have to sacrifice themselves for Strange's plan to work.
Maybe. They think Iron Man's probably going to do it.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing is that I know Chris Evans has been saying that he wants out of his contract for a while too, and same thing with Chris Hemsworth. But I think it's easier at this point to write Thor out of the main Avengers cast and just like to have an explanation for what, because he's off doing, Highfather stuff. Right. It's easier to write him out than to kill him off.
Yeah.
So yeah,
and
I don't think they're gonna kill him.
Yeah, I don't. It's pretty much like. It's pretty much open to whoever, really. You think the most predictable person is probably going to die, but they're going to throw a curveball, probably.
I mean, that's what we thought was going to happen in this movie.
Yeah, exactly. I thought the original Avengers were going to die in this movie.
Was going to die.
Yeah, but he just got knocked out.
Everyone knew Iron Man was going to die. Yeah,
he got stabbed.
It was also really funny because when the snap happened, I think everybody in the theater was expecting like maybe a couple of the sidekicks and B-listers to die off, but for them to keep most of the main cast in place. And then Black Panther disappears, and that was the point when I heard gasps in the audience because people were like, "Oh shit, they really did mean half."
I'm glad they killed off Black Panther. God.
Thank
God. But they made M'Baku survive. God.
Yeah, because M'Baku's awesome.
He is awesome,
M'Baku, man.
He's too gassed up by Twitter. That's why.
I like you saying, man. Everybody's like, "Why do they have to fight in Wakanda?" I'm like, y'all realize it doesn't matter where they fight.
It doesn't matter where they fight. I'm glad they fought in Wakanda.
Clearly, they didn't watch the movie because that was the only place where they could fight.
Yeah, because it's a big open space.
Exactly. That's the only place where they would have lasted more than like 30 seconds.
They would have, because that city barrier really helped a lot.
Fucking vibranium, how does it work?
Until the point where what's his face? Banner was like, oh, they're gonna keep going around. They'll go to Vision eventually. So you gotta open up the barrier.
And then they open it up. It turns out they were already inside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Damn, plot twist. Yeah, they went under that bitch or something.
Yeah.
I want to.
That part where the thing falls out of the ship and you think it's gonna fall on the city and it hits the dome. This shit's fire.
That was fire. Oh my god.
I just knew it was gonna fuck up Wakanda. I was like,
John, what were you saying?
The theater that I was in had like crazy ass surround sound. So when those towers or whatever were falling down and hitting,
you felt it.
You could feel that.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Fucking asshole. It was crazy. I was like, that's literally. This is the best movie to watch. And like,
one thing I want to say that I thought was really cool about the Wakanda battle is that a lot of times when you have like these big like war scenes in movies, it's just, hey, let's take two sides with a whole bunch of mooks and slam them together and have them fight. Yeah. And then it just becomes like a Dynasty Warriors game where it's like, okay, you have this giant pile of enemies that you have to chew through. And I really like that there is an actual sort of strategy that went into this with them sort of figuring out how to manage these bad guys and how to deal with the different threats and how they adjusted their strategy and who was doing what based on what got thrown at them. And that really gave a lot of tension to what otherwise would have just been, oh, it's time for explosions now. So I thought that was really cool.
That was. And they spent like the first like half of that battle just like standing there waiting. I like that because usually they just have like both sides just running at each other from the get-go, like you said.
I love that part when they charge at the enemies and Panther and Cap take off in front of everybody.
Yeah,
even though they started running last. Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, yo, these niggas is not human.
Well, Cap
was running so fast.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
Do you guys like Cap's like gauntlets that he has?
No, give him the round shield back.
Right? Yeah.
The new shield.
They gonna bring it back for the next movie.
He can't throw them.
He can't. I was like, oh, what's he gonna do?
I feel like that.
The strongest metal in the world.
It did hinder him.
The strongest substance in the universe.
John's right. It did hinder him.
It
did hinder him because like when he was trying to when him and Panther was running together, but Panther was fighting more than one enemy. Captain America was punching one nigga the whole time. I'm like, what are you doing? There's like a million of them.
I know.
Get a gun or something.
Yeah, when
Bucky's out there with a machine gun,
shooting.
Yeah,
and he tries to run up on Thanos with that shit. I'm like, really?
I know, really.
Shout outs to Falcon for being there.
Hey.
Nothing else.
Yo, even Rhodey was like, "Yo, Sam, you better step back. I'm about to clip your wings with these bombs."
Yeah,
Yeah, he fucked some shit up. I ain't gonna lie.
yeah, but he was dropping bombs on him.
Yeah.
Calming them hoes.
Carpet bombing.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I was like, yeah, War Machine raw when you let him be.
Exactly.
So in Wakanda, we got people fighting these 8-legged dogs, and then on Titan, you got
Wizard
Iron Man,
battle.
some of the Guardians and Spider-Man.
So much teleporting and hopping.
Apparently, Peter made up this plan to try to take the gauntlet off Thanos' arm, which is working pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Until Nebula comes. Well, until Nebula asks about Gamora.
Yeah.
And Thanos is
No,
like,
Peter was the one that asked about Gamora, and Nebula answered.
oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah.
And Mantis was like, he mourns. And I was like, why'd you say it like that?
She talks.
That's how she
Yeah,
talks.
that is how she talks.
And I was like,
look at him more. And then I was
Jack
like,
is
why Gamora?
yo,
I hate her.
Yeah.
you hate Drax?
I love Drax.
Me too.
Y'all like Drax?
I like
Yeah.
Drax.
He's
so much.
okay. He's okay. I
From the
just wish my biggest issue with him just comes from Volume 2 and that they could have given him like a better character arc, but every single time he was about to like show genuine emotion or have development, they have to end it on stupid jokes.
Yeah.
And they do kind of the same thing in this movie too. But that's like one of the few things I have against it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they turned him into a comic relief.
What about kicking names and taking ass?
Oh,
Come on.
I got a pretty big laugh out of my
Yeah.
theater.
I thought that was genuinely funny.
Fucking normies.
yeah, because then after that, Peter ruins his own plan because he finds out Gamora's dead.
Yeah.
So he slaps Thanos like a real G, but he ruins his own plan like a real idiot.
Yeah.
And
To be
Slap.
fair, he is an idiot.
He is an
true.
idiot.
What was cool was what I liked about the scene is that it mirrored Civil War with Iron Man and Cap.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, yo, Tony, be easy.
Yep.
Because we almost, you know what I'm saying? Because you're going to ruin everything. And he did it anyway.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
the gauntlet was almost off. Like, I watched it
I
a second
know.
time.
Yeah.
They almost
No,
had it.
he had it off. No, it was off.
Oh, it was off? Oh, yeah, it was
Yeah,
off.
they-
They got it off.
They had just pulled it off, and then he wakes up and
Spider-Man's like, I
snatches
got
it
it.
right
And he's
back
like,
from
nope.
them.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's
crazy.
God.
So Thanos gets the
This
gauntlet
what's
back
crazy.
again.
You know the funny part
What's up?
is what if Doctor Strange saw that shit happening and was just participating just for fun?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because he knew they couldn't win.
Well, no, but he also knew that he had to try with them because if he didn't put in that full effort either, with the exception that Thanos points out that he wasn't fighting with the Time Stone, and that's what tips him off that something else was going on because he wasn't using any of the Time Stone's powers to fight him. But at the same time, we got like fucking illusions being cast in the Crimson Bands of Cytorak, and it was awesome.
Yo, that fight was too raw. Like Thanos and Strange was throwing magic at each other.
Yep.
Thanos throws the moon at them.
I know.
Holy
Well,
shit.
mostly an Iron Man.
Yeah, Tony was like, if you throw another moon at me, I'm gonna be pissed.
That's such an anime thing, yo.
Right. Yo. So he gets he stabs Tony with his own
And
sword.
I thought that was it for Tony right there. I was like,
Dude,
Oh yeah,
that's
The
it.
music-
everybody did.
the music stops.
My eyes start watering.
Yeah.
The music stops and everybody goes in the theater, and I'm like,
Yep.
yo, chill out, dog, because you ain't just killed Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, mine did the same thing.
I was like,
I was
no
like,
way,
man,
this is how
they
it
gonna
ends
take
for
him
him.
out. I was like, they gonna take him out, then that I'm cool with that. I'm
Yeah.
cool with if he was to go right there.
He went out like a G, like a true
When
hero.
he started coughing up blood, I was like, yo,
I know. And then he used his little
Yeah,
nanites
that's
to
right.
heal himself.
oh my god.
That's why he's go. Can't kill him.
Okay, so
know.
also keep in mind, after the snap happens, Rocket doesn't realize that the entire rest of the Guardians are dead.
I know.
And
Oh my
Tony
God.
and Nebula are stuck on Titan with
Just them
no
two.
way off of it.
Yeah. That's so screwed.
But what was crazy was Strange said
It was the only way.
it was the only way.
As he's dying.
He gave Thanos the Time Stone.
Mm-hmm.
The-
Yeah.
And I love that scene where he pulls it out of a star in the background.
Yeah.
I was like, that was really cool.
it was really cool how they framed a lot of those disappearances too, because like since they were so tightly zoomed in on the actors' faces,
Yeah.
you couldn't see if they were disappearing or not until it happened.
Right. Yeah.
The only one that they drug out because they really want the audience to suffer was Spider-Man.
Spidey-Man.
I was holding it together in the movie.
I was crying.
Until he starts apologizing to Tony Stark.
I had tears running down.
I literally was sobbing in the theater, which is super awkward because one of my students was in that same showing.
That's all right. I hope your student cried also, because if he or she did not, then they have no emotion.
Yeah, so let's just get right into it, man.
All
Thanos
right.
comes down to Earth. He slaps Vision's face. No, Scarlet Witch blows up Vision.
Yep.
Yeah, she finally does it.
Yeah, she finally balls up and does it.
But
Thanos is like, look, I know what it's like to lose somebody. And he hits that DVR rewind button.
he literally turns the clock back. It was crazy.
He's like, hey, run that back, cuz.
Yeah, run that one back,
They
cut.
reversed the explosion. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was
That was
awesome.
cool. And then he slaps Vision's face off.
He literally rips it out of his
He
head.
pulls an Optimus Prime on him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He brought him
did.
back.
I
He
know.
dies, then he brought him back just to kill him
Just to
again.
kill him again.
In a worse way.
Thanos puts
Scarlet
all
Witch-
the gems in the gauntlet and busts the biggest nut of all time. He's like, oh yeah.
Scarlet Witch gets to watch her
And then
boyfriend die
Thor
twice.
tries to kill him by stabbing him in the
know.
chest, and then he says, "Should I aim for my head?" And then boom, he's gone.
Yeah, he snaps that finger.
Can
Hey,
we
look.
talk?
They
go ahead.
almost got me. I'm gonna say they almost got me, thinking that Thor was actually finna kill him.
I thought that too,
Right.
but I'm like,
Hearing
nah,
music.
I can't end like
I can
this.
hear the music. It's like, nah, he's not about to kill him.
Right.
Like,
This is taking
easy.
too long, and see, Thor's problem is the same problem as with every other villain in these stories. He stopped the gloat.
Yeah,
Right.
he does.
I told you, you die for that.
Yo, I know, yeah.
Thanos snaps his big sausage fingers. The screen goes white, and he sees Baby Gamora, and she's like, "Did you do it?" He's like, "Yeah."
What
He's
did it
like,
cost you?
He's like, "Everything."
Everything.
Yeah.
And then it goes back
All right,
to
that's
reality.
good.
It
And
goes
the-
back to reality, which
yeah.
surprises me.
Yep, and this is the part where, like, you know, Bucky's just like, Steve, and then it just turns into fucking dust.
Thus.
I was like, wait, what just happened? My jaw dropped. I was like, wait, what?
Yo, but real quick though, did y'all notice when Thanos, after he snapped, the gauntlet was broken?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that.
Yep.
He fried it.
Well, because they said like the gauntlet, they forged it to allow him to access the power of all the stones at once. So I guess he could really only do that once before
right.
it like gets destroyed.
So people start fading away. You know what I'm saying? You lose Winter Soldier, Falcon.
The Falcon one was funny because Rhodey was looking. Of course, Rhodey of all
Sam.
people are looking for the first person he looks
Sam?
for is Sam.
Where you at? Where you at, other black guy?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, both of them were fighting each other. Both of them were fighting during the whole sequence. So I guess.
Pre. It's because they're both black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll
Let's
take
be
you
real.
guys' word for it.
And then you got Okoye. She's laying there on the ground, and Black Panther runs around the corner. Is like, "Get up! This is no place to die." And then he fades away.
Yeah,
And
he
then
does. Fuck,
That
I'm
was-
glad.
I was laughing.
Bullshit, man.
I was laughing when he faded away. I was so happy.
Damn.
Take
I was
that,
like,
take
ooh,
that, Black
pissing
Panther
people
fans.
off.
Nah,
Yeah.
I did feel bad that he
Well,
faded
it
away
wasn't-
because he's one of the new
Yo.
guys.
When T'Challa fades away, you hear all the black people in the theater go, "No!"
Exactly. That's why I'm happy.
Right,
I'm happy that
I
happened.
heard white people in my theater go, "No!"
Chadwick.
I mean, who thought they were gonna kill Black Panther, man? Like,
Duh.
I thought they were gonna kill Black Panther. Dude.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Actually, I was like, "Yo, I can't believe they actually did it."
Yeah. I know.
They had
He said, fuck
they got some
black
big,
people.
they had the balls to do that.
When
Yeah, I know they got their Twitter notifications muted because I know they full of people going, "How dare you kill Chadwick Boseman?"
We finally got a black lead character. You kill him in the very next movie.
At least he didn't die first.
I know.
But
Yeah.
what was Scarlet Witch fades away, and it was interesting to me because
Yep.
she faded away and not Vision.
And Vision was already dead.
Well, because
Vision's
Vision was
already
already
dead, so he
dead.
can't
So
fade
Oh,
I
he
think
already
it
dead, so he doesn't
doesn't count.
count. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish he was
That
alive
sucks.
still. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that comparison though. Herb. I felt the same
Yeah.
way.
So can we talk about
And then-
Thanos like retiring to be a farmer at the end of the?
Yeah, he's just chilling, I thought he was gonna be sipping on a drink or something, watching the sunset.
Somebody pointed out to me you can actually see, because apparently this is something that happened in the comics, but I saw somebody point out that in that shot you can see he has like his golden armor set up on a scarecrow off to the side.
What?
I don't believe it.
No, like
movie,
because I saw somebody mention that after I saw it the first time, and then I kept an eye out for it when I went back and rewatched it the next weekend, and it's there.
Oh man!
Damn.
That's who else goes? Mantis goes. Drax goes.
The entire
Thank God
Guardians is
Mantis
dead
went.
except for Rocket.
Everybody except Rocket, and then
Groot
Spidey
goes.
Spidey with the saddest death.
Dr.
No!
Stark, I don't feel so good. Stark, I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Samuel Jackson.
Oh,
Samuel Jackson.
he goes out like a boss saying,
Wait.
"What the fuck?"
Okay. The after credit scene. So, Nick Fury and Agent Hill are riding somewhere. They're talking about these energy signatures they're getting in Wakanda or whatever.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this car in front of them just swerves and crashes.
On a helicopter.
And they get out to see what's happening. Yeah, they get out to see what's happening. There's nobody in the car. And a helicopter just flies into a building. Yeah, it's basically right. It's like Avengers Left Behind.
Yep.
And so then he turns around and looks at Maria Hill's disappearing. He's like, "Code Red," runs to the car, starts moves this guy out the way, and starts looking for something in a bag. He looks at his arms like, "Oh,
a little beeper."
Yeah, he pulls out the beeper and he's like, "Motherfucker."
It was such a Nick Fury way to go out, saying "motherfucker."
I gotta call my weed man.
Funny thing is, like, someone told me a long time ago, like that was gonna happen, but minus the whole fading away, because we saw the pictures like of them filming the scene for that. But I originally thought that was gonna be for Captain Marvel though, but it turned out to be the after credits for Infinity War.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
So, do y'all think Ant-Man and Wasp are alive?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yep.
I would bet. I don't know. There's no way that they disappear both of them, and I bet you Ant-Man's probably going to show up in the second movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Ant-Man and Wasp movie takes place before all this nonsense. So.
Right.
Exactly. It takes place right after Civil War.
Right after Civil War.
So basically, the same time as Black Panther.
Oh my god! Who was the saddest death to y'all?
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man
and Groot.
Yep. Same. Yeah.
Yep, agreed.
No, dog. Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch. Thank you, John.
Oh my god.
Elizabeth Olsen. No. Take me instead, Lord. Take me instead. Yo, I was big sad.
I know.
Oh my god, what did y'all think of the movie?
It was amazing. It was amazing.
It's really,
I cried, dude.
It's really tough to put it in a ranking with the other MCU movies because it's so different from everything else and relies so much on the movies that came before it to work.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to include it with my list, it'd definitely be in the top 5 somewhere, but it's really hard to compare it to anything else. Honestly, they could have made this movie 4 hours long and just done like it as a single movie rather than part 1 and 2, and I still would have been on board for it.
It's not confirmed that it's part 1 and 2 yet.
Well, they didn't
always
make it
knew.
part 1 and 2, but whatever.
We've known it's going to be part 1 and 2
part 1 and
since...
2. I know.
We've known it for years that it's going to be 2 parts, so...
I agree with you, though, pretty, like... I think from now on, when I do my little Marvel rankings, like, I'm going to take out all the Avengers movies, because this is not... Except maybe the first one. Because these don't count.
Yeah.
Like, it's,
The
all those
first
ones
one...
up on their own.
Yeah, I think the first one feels more like it belongs with the rest in terms of like style and structure, but the first Avengers movie I don't think really is aged all that well.
Yeah.
Nah. Especially all the stuff that happens after that, you know.
Yo, Nick, what do you rank it?
Wow. I would say it's definitely top 5. I really don't have like a top 5 I actually made up, but it's definitely top 5 if I were to make a list.
You know in advance it's going to be up there.
What?
So you know in advance it's going to be up there.
Oh, you're right.
You're like, what the fuck?
Jonathan,
What?
what do you rank the movie?
Shit, man. I don't know. It's up there. I don't know. Definitely top 3.
Top 3.
Top 3.
Just because how it makes you feel after you watch it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we're still thinking about it. It's been like 2 weeks. We're still thinking about it and talking about it.
It's one of those things where like I got 1:30 in the morning because I went to the premiere that started at 10:30 at night, and I had work that next morning. I had to be up at 6 in the morning to go teach, and I was just staring at the wall.
Yeah, I couldn't go to sleep that night.
That's how it is.
I mean, it was a lot to process. So,
Oh god.
Oh yeah.
like, you couldn't believe they actually went there.
It's also a top 5 movie for me too. But shout outs to all the dads in the MCU who don't have to pay child support no more because their kids don't exist no more.
You're awesome.
And on that note, Legion out.